I feel like such a doofus right now. It's Halloween, and I bought this chicken suit right after Delaney and I filmed the Halloween review the other day at Party City. And look at this. To insert batteries, I didn't bring AA batteries. Darn it! What's going on, viewers? It's TVB. And Danny should be here in the AMC parking lot any minute. We're gonna see Five Nights at Freddy's. My apologies, I won't be wearing a costume for this movie review like I wanted to. But that's okay, there's always next year and other, like, costume-themed occasions. Okay, Danny's here. Danny, tell me, what are your expectations going to Five Nights at Freddy's?
Well, you know, this movie has been in, like, it's such a long-awaited movie, like all the, like when they, like Blumhouse, when they first announced it, which was, I don't know, how many years ago, and, you know, it's finally, you know, being made. I mean, you know, they finally
released it,
and, you know, it's been in the works for a long time.
Yeah, I have never played the Five Nights at Freddy's games, have you?
No, but, I think, when did that get? I think that game came out.
That game's been out for years. I have never played Five Nights at Freddy's, but my knowledge of it is very cursory. All I know is that it's a horror game where the animatronic, like, bears and, like, you know, the characters jump out and scare you at different scenes, and it's like, and also Game Theory, that YouTube channel, has like 1 billion videos about it and the lore and whatnot. So, but the movie's got Josh Hutcherson in it, and I hear it's doing really great at the box office too.
You know, Josh Hutcherson, I haven't like seen him in a movie in like,
yeah, since like Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2, I believe. Maybe he's been in other movies since then.
Also has Matthew Lillard. He played Shaggy in the live-action Scooby-Doo.
No way.
And the sequel.
Yeah, well,
Scooby-Doo 2.
Yeah, what was I gonna say?
Oh, and Five Nights at Freddy's. You know how much they like compare it to being like a parody of Chuck E. Cheese and.
Yeah. Also, apparently, I read online that somewhere that it did better on its opening weekend, box office wise, than Mario did. So 2023 is looking like it's been a great year for video game movies. All right, let's get in there.
Yeah.
3 hours later.
So we just got out of the theater, and as I kind of expected, this is like the movie that, like, I walked in this movie kind of expecting it to be either the movie like the critics loved it, that the critics hate and the audience loves, or vice versa, and it turned out being the former. Like, this film has a 28% critical reception on Rotten Tomatoes and an 89% score as of this time with the audience, which is really interesting, the split between the two, because, like, I'm going with the audience on this one. What about you, Danny? Did you?
Well, I knew the score even before I saw this.
Yeah, I never look at, like, critical receptions before going out to movies, or I usually don't, at least. Yeah, I mean, this film, Five Nights at Freddy's, I didn't think it was great. I had some issues, like you mentioned, that it did use some cliches.
Yeah, it did have cliches, which, like, there are, like, this one cliche, which I won't spoil, but, and as I said before, like, Vitas, I told you that, I got the actor Matthew, who played Shaggy in live-action Scooby-Doo, was in this, and what's that thing you want to tell them about with Shaggy?
Yeah. It's like, it's been so many years since the Scooby-Doo movies, you know, with what's his name again?
Matthew Lillard.
Matthew Lillard playing Shaggy. It's like, nowadays it looks like he could pass as Josh Hutcherson's dad. But yeah, I thought the film was, it looked great. I thought the sound effects and the cinematography and the visuals were on point.
And as I pointed out, I think because you got Five Nights at Freddy's takes place, well, like before it was shut down and abandoned, you know, it took place in the 80s. So, like, there was this, I got one character, Vanessa, you know, who was the police officer, like, she went to fight as a kid in the 80s. So, and as I pointed out before, especially from this one part, the movie itself, or like the time it takes place in the early 2000s. Like, if you see, like you know, you see the kind of, like the type of car Josh Hutcherson's character drives, and also with things like the TV in his house, so with the VHS, like all that, like early 2000s like nostalgia and
Yeah, and also this film kind of hit a nostalgic spot for me in a weird sense because he keeps mentioning Nebraska throughout the film and how like his family would go there when he was a kid. And yeah, it's funny because a year ago, also on Halloween a year ago, I lived in Nebraska. I was an intern at the Riverside Discovery Center, so I had a weird connection with the character in a strange sense. But yeah, is there anything else you want to say about Five Nights at Freddy's without spoiling it, Danny?
You know how Five Nights at Freddy's, again, being a family, again, doesn't it also, like, remind you of,
Chuck E. Cheese's?
Yeah, does Five Nights at Freddy's remind you of Chuck E. Cheese with the animatronics?
Yeah, I think we all thought the same thing when Five Nights at Freddy's was first, like, a video game back in 2014 when we were, like, in high school. It's like, it looks like demented Chuck E. Cheese's.
Yeah, and didn't you, have, is one of you, like, as you probably don't know, I do have, like, one of my, like, earliest memories from, you know, as a little kid. I do, like, vaguely remember going to, like, a birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese, and, you know, right in the nostalgia. How about you?
I remember going to Chuck E. Cheese's at least, like, once or twice as a kid, but it wasn't something my family and I frequented.
Vitas told me in elementary school that he hated Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, I did, for whatever reason. But anyways,
like, in the entirety of this movie, like, the plot, I mean, it gets, like, confusing with, I don't know, I don't want to...
Like, you know, there's a lot of interesting motifs throughout the film. Like, it relates to dreams, or it relates to childhood trauma, and there's a whole lot of stuff. And, like, again, this is kind of an issue of the film's narrative. I can see why, like, it tried being too much at once, I think, which is maybe why people didn't really care for this movie. But, like, I thought the film, like, it knew what it wanted to be, and it succeeded at that. Like, it wanted to be scary, it wanted to, you know, be fan service, because we were talking to two other, like, you know, moviegoers sitting next to us who were, like, huge FNAF fans. They were telling us a lot about the lore and stuff like that, about you know, the games that this movie is based off of. And yeah, it was interesting to hear their insight. I think some things would have made more sense to me if I had played the games before seeing the movie. Because that's kind of like the thing with all video game adaptations. That's why film adaptations of video games tend to not be as great as, like, book to film adaptations. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and, you know, as you know, movies about video games do better than more than
movies based on video games.
Yeah, I mean, not every, like, video game movie adaptation.
Hey, let's walk closer to the cars.
Like this year, like we had, you know, Super Mario Brothers movie, and that movie made bank, you know, box office, and
yep. And we have Sonic the Hedgehog 3 to look forward to. The first two Sonic movies really good.
Yeah, just to tell you, I still have never seen Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I've only seen 1. Oh,
well, I would highly suggest you see Sonic Hedgehog 2. Anyways, Danny, for Five Nights at Freddy's, on your old scale of 0 to 9, what would you give this film?
I guess, well, let's see, I mean, it wasn't, Five Nights at Freddy's, you know, the movie, it wasn't that bad. I mean, I had no problems with that movie, so, I don't know, I would give it, to be fair, I would give this movie, a passable 7 out of 9.
Okay, I'm going for a 6 out of 9. You know, it is a likable film. All right, well, that concludes the 31 Days of Horror Challenge. This is it. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me this Spooktober throughout this series. And expect, you know, my YouTube channel turned 10 years old a few weekends ago, and I've been putting it off. My apologies. I'm determined to have my 10th anniversary special up as soon as I can. It's not to make excuses, just offering explanations. This October's been really hectic for me, just like work-wise and other stuff going on in my personal life. But yeah, thanks all for watching. Don't forget to tickle Danny by subscribing. And
happy Halloween.
Yep, happy Halloween. Have a good night. Stay beastly.